I'm quite excited actually with the.
What was that noise?
And we're live. Welcome to another drinks break episode of Grass on the Wicket podcast. You got another packed recording studio.
Yeah, everyone's back.
/ Jay's.
Yeah.
I mean, I was trying to jazz it up for the audience at home. I thought we want to give off an air of professionalism.
We can't really call it a recording studio when we've got a mic and a mug kind of being propped up. And there's kind of just Jaffa cakes everywhere as well.
I've heard that's how Test Match Special does it, no?
I think so.
The Jaffa cakes everywhere sounds about right.
Usually there's a Victoria sponge in the corner, but...
There is a Victoria sponge in the kitchen now.
You haven't offered that to us.
Very
We've
selfish.
got some slightly dodgy chocolate brownies.
And as it was very obvious from the intro, we were talking about the county championship.
To be fair, that's very championship.
Yeah, it is. The championship prime badgering about the commentating. But yeah, county championship starts on Friday. And so we thought we'd give a little breakdown, a little run through of Div 1 in this episode. The ins and outs of each team, who we think we're going to win, who we think going down Kent, and and all things county championship. So our resident county championship experts.
Hello.
I've got two this week. A lot of pressure on you now, George.
Yeah, I'm slightly concerned I'm being classed as an expert.
But yeah, so would you guys like to? Where would you like to kick off?
Well, I think we're going to kick off in alphabetical order. Because that's where my notes are. That's the way George's notes are. So, starting off with Essex. They had a pretty good season last year. Finished third. Backing up their victory the year before. This year they have lost James Foster, which is a massive loss for anyone. That would be a big loss. But they have at least got a good Gloveman replacement in Adam Wheater there.
Scored some runs for Hampshire last year.
Yeah.
Good.
Ryan Tenderscarter's captain.
Yeah.
And you've got Jamie Porter still playing for them.
Yeah, I think those two. Well, Tenderscarter's obviously seriously experienced now.
Yeah.
Has just been sort of churning away in county cricket for God knows
He's
how
been
many
all
years.
over the world, really. Actually.
Well, yeah, he did play around, but
And
he's
you-
kind of
you've
always
got-
had that county gig.
You've got to remember, you've got a whole season of Alistair Cook
I
this
mean,
year.
yeah.
we're
That's-
talking about
that's
his
massive.
experience, and you go,
Yeah, he's gonna.
How many test runs there?
I will be surprised if he has less than 1,000 runs come this end of the season.
I'd be amazed.
I'm sort of looking at 1,500 for him. He's
He's already got 100 this season, I think, in the warm-ups.
Yeah, he hit 150 against.
yeah. And then couldn't be bothered to bat in the second innings.
Imagine as a student going out and bowling Alistair Cook.
Who's got the tape on the lid to cover up the England
Yeah.
badge?
I mean, I am maybe slightly hoping that Alistair Cook is going to rock up and play the last three tests of the Ashes.
I think we all deep down would love to see it.
Yeah, he gets parachuted in England are 2-0 down and facing a humiliating defeat.
Cook
And
comes
then
in, hits
Cook
3
comes
double
in,
hundreds.
yeah.
What?
And you've got Steve Smith hopefully crying.
What?
He's just got sandpaper coming out of his ears.
What if he comes? Imagine, so just say the scenario happens.
Yeah.
And he comes back.
Yeah.
And he snicks off twice early on,
Yeah.
and we're like, "Oh, the old Cook is back."
Yeah, you've flown in the wrong Cook.
Sam Cook has actually showed up.
You've flown in, gets trapped on the crease and edges off the first slip early doors Cook, as opposed to 297 or 296 Alistair.
To get back on track and talking about the wrong Cook, Sam Cook, I think could be big for Essex this year actually.
Little Chef.
Little Chef, as he's known
Is
apparently.
that what they call it?
Yeah.
Oh god.
I mean, you play for Essex and your surname's Cook, you're going to be known as that, aren't you?
Yeah.
They've also still got Simon Harmer there.
Colpack.
As a Colpack.
Peter Siddle is overseas.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about allowing Australian overseas to come and play the champ before the Ashes series?
I mean, if I'm Justin Langer, I'm pretty chuffed about it.
I don't have a problem with it. I think, make it a fair series, give them the chance to essentially have some warm-up games. And back that you're still going to know the conditions better than they are because you've grown up playing there. They just don't maybe They don't have a stuttering start, but that just makes for a bad series, in my opinion. So I think as a spectator, it's definitely a good thing.
Yeah, especially because in most of the Test series now, there's not enough warm-up time.
Well, India tried the same thing last year, didn't they? When they tried to get Kohli to play for Surrey.
Yeah.
But
So
that
he got
fell
wide
through.
injured.
Yeah, so he had his back thing, didn't he?
Yeah.
Move on to Hampshire.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they managed to scrape clear of relegation last year. 12 points in it. To be honest, I think they're going to struggle. They've got some good players. Don't get me wrong. They need at least one of Vince Russo or North East to score a lot of runs, in my opinion. Sort of well over 1,000 runs.
I mean, all three are top quality batsmen.
I'm not sure I'd say North East.
I was literally about to say, just wait for Sam to just start bashing North East. He absolutely, whenever I bring up North East, he's like, no, he's useless. He scored 1,200 runs in Div 2 against rubbish opposition, so it doesn't count according to Sam.
It just counts less.
I still think that, I agree with George in that I think they're one of those three. I'd back one of those three to score.
Well, I think Vince is going to struggle opening the batting, in my opinion, because he loves to play his extravagant cover drives and driving it straight back down the ground. And if he wants to open the batting, he's kind of going to have to rein that in a bit. Because if he's coming in against the completely new ball, fresh seam attack in April, and he starts playing some of those, unless his hand-eye's got significantly better, he's gonna seriously struggle.
I think if Hampshire were in Div 2, I think Vince would score a lot of runs out the batting. I think he'll struggle hard unless, as Paddy says, he changes his entire game in Div 1 against those slightly quicker bowlers. Just it's a little bit more like test bowling lineups. If you're playing against Surrey, you've got Morne Morkel there opening the bowling at you. I can't see Vince doing much there.
Well, I think Hampshire look quite weak with the batting, unless obviously one of those three score, with Sean Irvine and Jimmy Adams, two of their most experienced players, retiring.
Although they've got in a decent overseas player.
Oh, Dimuth, yeah. Karuna Ratne.
Although I'm not sure whether he's still coming in.
I believe he's now not coming in.
I think they've got Aidan Macklem in instead.
Possibly, I've not seen that. But...
Is that confirmed?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think he's in until the World Cup, so
that's a handy replacement.
Boosting the batting lineup.
I mean, he'll open for them, won't he? Because he's an opening bat for South Africa, but that
him and Vince at the top of the order.
Yeah. And then bowling wise, they rely heavily on
bowling.
Edwards.
Well, yeah, Philo Edwards is they've lent heavily on him past couple of years. They brought in some sort of backup for him in Keith Barker and James Fuller this season.
Keith Barker gets wickets.
Keith Barker does get wickets. I hate it because he's the quintessential successful county player, isn't he? He's a left arm Darren Stevens. It's filthy Meadows, but it's so effective.
Yeah, one that he'll never be able to make the next step up and play Test cricket the way he plays.
But he'll always do.
He's going to do a serious job in the champ.
Yeah. I mean, he's been doing it for Warwickshire for God knows how many years now.
Shall we move on to your favourite team, George? Kent?
I think favourite is...
this is the thing, this is going to be interesting.
Favourite for relegation.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, so we've got... You're losing James Treadwell and Will Gibbons.
Was it you?
Kent.
You.
Yeah,
we're not.
Me, so Treadwell and Will Gibbon are both very experienced county championship operators.
Yeah.
And they both give you a lot of experience with the ball and Will Gibbon with the bat as well. And so losing them is big. They don't have a spinner now.
I was going to say, particularly Treadwell, they've not got a replacement for him.
Because Imran Qayyum can... No, I'm sorry. Imran Qayyum is not ready to replace Treadwell, and Adam Riley has not proven himself in county champ.
Joe Denley?
Yeah, but again, he'll bowl, but he won't be around for that long if he because he's obviously currently in the Test setup. I wonder whether he'll be playing much. You've got Matt Renshaw.
His fantastic overseas signing, as he showed last year for Somerset.
That was
quality. Was the one game where he opened
his first game.
His first game where he scored his first run with a 6. Brought 50 up with a 6 and his ton.
Yes. which I think it was said at the time, no one could find any other example of someone doing it in first-class cricket ever.
Wow.
But don't hold. We won't hold you to that. It's potentially.
It was. I don't think anyone had good enough records to actually confirm it for sure, but no one could find an example of someone doing it.
What man?
So I mean, if he can replicate that, that'd be fantastic for Kent, and it might give him a chance.
I think Kent lacked 2 or 3 big things. A very good high quality seam bowler this year, because last year Matt Henry kind of basically got us up.
Yeah.
Look, Darren Stevens helped, yes, and Darren Stevens is God, but Matt Henry got an absurd amount of wickets last year.
75 wickets.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I think it'll also be. I think Darren Stevens will be less effective this year because the pitches in Div 1 tend to be a little bit better, less green, which is where he really thrives, obviously.
And the other thing is just a really good, consistent batsman. I mean, Haino Kuhn, you can argue, is pretty handy, and you've got. I mean, it's a big season if Bell Drummond goes well, but you need Bell Drummond.
I think he's been slated to score runs for years now.
Since he was about 18 or 19.
Because when he was in the England under-19 setup, they thought, oh, he's the new.
Well, because
he was tipped.
I played against him when he was 17, 18, and he absolutely just pumped the ball everywhere. And so it will be slightly depressing if he doesn't quite ever make that step up, because it would be a great claim to fame if he goes on to score.
Did you get him out?
Come on now.
So Jay, what you've said is you need a spinner because Treadwell's gone. You lack a seamer and you lack batsman.
So have you got a keeper?
Yeah,
We do have a keeper. We have Sam Billings and Adam Rouse, and my boy Ollie Robinson, who
So you've got 3 keepers.
My claim to fame is I played with Ollie.
But Kent have made a critical mistake in their squad building there. We'll just get some keepers. That'll be.
Well, they've obviously seen the England side. Yeah, they've seen the England side as well. It sort of works for them.
I think, although I'm going to be upset about saying it, it looks weak.
I definitely Kent are my tips for bottom of the pack.
Yeah, if any county gets relegated below Kent, they've got to have a long, hard look at themselves.
But is it this year that only one team's going down and 2 are going up?
3 are going up, I think.
Is it 3 going up, 2 going down?
That's a joke.
Because they're going.
I think it's
two
3
for
and
2
1.
years in a row, isn't it? Oh, are they going
3 and
both
1 year,
teams in 1 year?
Yeah. I think 1 down.
Because they're going to a 10 and 8 rather than 8 and 10.
Yeah.
With teams in Div
Which I
1
think
and Div 2.
reasonably harsh on Kent, because I think if they would be one of the teams coming up next year. Sorry, if they were in the Div 2 now, I'd see them being one of the 3 coming up.
Mm.
But at the same time,
You don't see
they're a year too early.
yeah, there's no way they're staying up this year.
Yeah, I'd only.
Watch them win every game now.
Just
genuinely-
some unheard of 18-year-old through the Kent Academy just scores
Yeah.
2,000
Ollie,
runs.
Zach was the year above me as well in the setup, and Zach he's just got 87 today actually. And Zach Crawley.
I heard it's actually why Jay's going back home. He's got a trial. they need a new spinner / top order batsman.
And a top
Yeah,
order
you can
batsman.
do all 3 jobs for him, Jay.
You can't do any worse a job than the rest of the team.
Right,
That's enough Kent bashing.
This is just not
Because-
fair.
There's never no such
Well,
thing.
we're gonna have to leave enough time to just love Somerset as
That
well.
is true. That is true.
So next on the list, Notts.
Yeah, pretty good squad. Some good signings. They got Ben Slater in. I think he arrived halfway through last season. They've got Ben Duckett in, Joe Clark, both also bolstering the batting there.
And Duckett turned up in the warm-up games, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, in the uni game he did. I think he might have hit double turn actually. He just went mental.
All right for some.
But there was always, again, he scored his runs in Div 2.
Yeah.
And I'm never convinced by solely Div 2 runs.
So what? How can you convince someone from
Score runs in Div 1.
So they have to move then.
Well, I mean, if you're a good enough
he has.
if you're a good enough batsman, you'll get your team promoted from Div 2.
Single-handedly.
Pretty much. Unless you're one of the teams that are truly awful.
So Kent, because they didn't get any runs.
Imagine if Kent had someone scoring runs last year. They would have run away with it.
They're gonna run away with it, but we'll see. But anyway, I think Ben Duckett and Joe Clark being in that side will really bolster that batting. But they're quite young.
I really do rate Joe Clark. I think he's a fantastic young batsman.
Lost Billy Root though.
I mean, I'm not sure that's that
Yeah,
much of a loss.
Yeah, Villiers always been a bit.
I think they'll be more upset about losing Ricky Vessels actually.
To Worcester.
Yeah, I think they might have released him and then he got picked up by Worcester. So maybe they won't be upset by it. I suppose with batsmen coming in, they don't really have a need for him. But he's been a solid performer for them.
It seems like an odd player to just drop as opposed to be traded away.
No, it is odd. I suppose it might have been part of the deal for Joe Clark. I don't know.
And then you've got James Pattinson coming in overseas for the first couple of games, and Stuart Broad as well should have a pretty good availability early on as well.
Especially during the World Cup.
Yeah.
He's not in there, so that's...
I think Nottingham...
And
Nottingham will be a decent side.
Hales is on a white ball contract.
Okay.
It was Hales and Rashid both signed
Both did it.
at similar times. And was Samit Patel as well?
No, Samit's. All three formats.
Samit's
just chatting rubbish there.
He's an engine though. He's an engine though. He's still pretty handy. And,
he's
as an
handy player. Yeah. I think it was important for them to improve their squad over the off season because they survived by virtue of having more wins than Lancashire last season. So they obviously.
Oh, so the points were similar, but
the points were the same, and they had one more win.
Oh wow!
Which, as a Somerset fan, hurt me because it was the same way they took the championship off us in 2010, I think it was.
Which is a great way to move on to our next.
Oh no, sorry. I think we should just go straight on to Surrey. If that's all right.
Save the best for last. Yeah, I see where you're coming from, Jay. But no, we'll move on to Somerset. I think they look a strong team this year. Oh, always I think that because I'm an eternal optimist.
But it does look like a strong side.
But everyone's saying it, so I feel confident in stating it looks a strong team. It's a pretty similar squad to last season. Not a huge amount of movement. Jack Brooks coming in to really add some experience to the seam attack.
See, I don't know whether it's just me being slightly pessimistic, but batting.
So I'm actually quite optimistic about the batting. With the move Hildreth up to 3 to free up a middle order slot to allow the younger batsmen a little bit more pressure free chance to score some runs. So you're going to have top 3 of Trescothick, Azhar Ali, James Hildreth. Huge amount of experience there. You back that they'll get off to good starts probably more often than not, I'd say.
Middle order.
Then you've got Tom Abel, who had a good season last year. We've discussed him before, and Jay and George, you both bashed him a lot. Since then, we've had an article on Crick Buzz extolling his virtues from Vithushan Hantaraja. We've had also in the Guardian County Preview. In a Times article.
Other newspapers are available.
Other newspapers are available.
But not ones that are quite as well versed in cricket as they clearly are, talking about how good Tom Abel is.
Well, it was... I was talking about who's going to open for England, and apparently an unnamed current county bowler suggested Tom Abel might be the answer. I think that says a lot. People within the game clearly think highly of him.
No, the fact that it was an unnamed county bowler.
He's too scared to get
out.
ripped into.
Annual county cricketers dinner. They're all going to go up to him and go, "Oh, come on, mate."
All the players will know who said that.
Yeah, but
will they?
Yeah.
They'll find out soon enough.
There'll be one guy wearing a Tom Abel for England.
He averaged 40 last year in a season where hardly anyone scored any runs. So he's clearly got some ability. Like, he's not awful.
He's not awful. But
he's a good county number 4.
I would love for him to play for England because it means
I'm not saying he's going to play for England. I'm saying that he's a good, solid number 4 for Somerset.
Yeah, he's not a bad bat. I think because that's where the point came from. Is there enough batting there?
Yeah, he adds to the batting. Then you've got Steve Davis bat 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
Very seasoned pro in county cricket, and you've got the youngsters of Eddie Byram, who's scored some runs at the back end last year and has scored some runs pre-season this year. You've got George Bartlett as well, who's done well for England under-19s, as well as a couple of decent knocks for Somerset.
And then you've got a very well-balanced bowling attack with the Overton brothers, Gregory, and
Leach,
Jack
Bess.
Leach, Dom Bess, yeah. It's again, I hate to say it, but you're very well balanced and you guys are a strong side.
Yeah, we've got strong seamers, strong spinners, strong batting
You
lineup.
have everything that Kent does not have this season.
Although we haven't got the strength and depth
Bit
of
of
keepers.
keeping, yeah, I was going to say, because there was chat about
Well,
Josh Butler coming back.
Yeah, I think that's not
and
going to happen until next year.
yeah.
We've got Tom Bantam to take the gloves. Should Steve Davis get injured. But
So,
we've not got the third keeper at Kent now, so
So-
we're jealous of you in that.
so
one.
I mean,
what do you
all
think
teams need
then?
3 keepers
Okay.
nowadays, it
Yeah.
seems.
so what do you think then? A push for the title, or is it another season of disappointment?
So the thing is, I always think that we're going to be pushing for it. We also always get tipped for relegation. This year, we've been tipped to be chasing the title, maybe even win it, which means we'll probably get relegated.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a chance Somerset will win it. Every game lost.
Yeah, probably.
They'll
No,
beat
Somerset.
Kent and that's it. That leads us nicely to the champ winners last year.
Yeah.
Sorry. George, what are we thinking?
I think it depends how many of Surrey's players end up playing for England. I really like Ollie Pope. I think he is sensational. You've got Rory Burns opening up. If he's not playing for England, he's going to score runs. Dean Elgar is an overseas player, well proven, played a lot of county cricket. He knows what he's doing. Ben Folkes as well in that middle order.
Will folks get much county cricket? Yeah, he will.
Yes.
Because I meant for England.
Oh.
Well, Danny Bairstow took the gloves in the last game,
Yeah,
so I do
he's-
think that Ben Folkes is struggling.
He's not
but,
the man in possession.
Oh, so they're not even picking him now.
Well, we need to wait and see until
Right,
they
yeah.
name the Ashes squad, but he didn't play.
Certainly
last
for the front end of the season, he'll be there.
Yeah.
I think they've made a couple of signings. Liam Plunkett is a good signing. There's some more experience into that seam attack that's led obviously by Morning Morkel,
So you got Morning Morkel, Tom Curran, Liam Plunkett,
Sam Curran.
That's a
Amir Verdi.
yeah.
Yeah,
This is a season.
so I think Amaverdi's an interesting one. There was a lot of chat about him last season when he put in a couple of good performances early on. I'm not convinced. I think a lot of spinners will quite often sort of start well, have a few good performances up front. And like he's not bad at all. I'm sure he'll play county cricket for many years to come. Whether he's got enough to maybe push on for international honours, I think there's a lot remains to be seen about his game. And how he goes this season, I think will sort of dictate a lot of that. Also quite
Ollie Pope as
keen
well.
to see. Well, Conor McCurr was who I was going to mention. Young seamer who's apparently got some real wheels about him. I think it must be brilliant for him to have Morning Morkel there and now Liam Plunkett as well. I'm sure he'll learn a lot of them about how to bowl seam smart as well as just quick. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes in this season. Yeah, obviously you've got the youngsters there in the batting as well, in Pope.
Pope just looks a different class.
Really?
In county cricket, he scored runs in the MCC game. I think he scored 200.
Yeah, I think he did.
I think Surrey are really strong.
I think they are the team to beat.
But
Much as I'd love it to be Somerset.
they're the Patriots of the New England Patriots of the county championship. Like they're probably going to win it, but
Everyone loves that.
yeah, no thanks.
Because they also have an absurd amount of money. So,
Yeah,
which is like
They do, but I'll give them credit. Unlike some counties, knots, who just go and poach other counties' players, Surrey have at least invested in their own
Academy,
youth setup, and they're producing a lot of their own players. Even in the cases where the players come from overseas initially. So, for example, Conor McCurr, I think, is from South Africa. But they're the ones that have kind of brought them over and brought them up to the professional level.
should we look at Warwickshire?
Yeah.
Jeeta Patel for me. I think he's been now
He's
in
been
the
there
side for
donkeys now.
forever.
It's probably coming up a decade, I'd imagine.
Wow.
Which as an overseas player is no one else has done that and stayed with the club for that long since sort of probably 90s. Now club captain as well, which obviously shows how important he's become to the club. They've got some good batsmen there as well. Dom Sibley, and obviously you've still got Ian Bell, which is
the sledgehammer of eternal justice.
yeah.
What a
George,
man!
you're quite a big fan of Ian Bell, aren't you?
I am a massive fan of Ian Bell.
I love
Ian
Ian
It's just a joy to watch.
His cover drive is still one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's pure cricket. If you were to boil cricket down and get the purest form of cricket, it would just be highlight videos of Ian Bell hitting cover drives.
See, I think Warwickshire's best chance or best kind of signing over the winter has been Paul Farbrace coming in as coach, team director. I mean, he's really impressed when he's taken over at England and done stuff with England, and very experienced coach. I think if he can whip this Warwickshire team into some kind of shape, then they'll be looking pretty good.
Yeah, I think their one concern, well, for me, it would be their seam bowling. Maybe they've lost quite a lot over the winter. They're losing Chris Wright, Keith Barker, and Boyd Rankett, who you look at as probably their three best seamers. Yeah. So that's a big chunk. They brought in Craig Miles and Liam Norwell, both bowl seam, I think. Liam Norwell bowl seam from Gloucester. So they've got a bit of a replacement there, but it's not the same calibre.
Yorkshire?
George?
Yorkshire?
I mean, Yorkshire's quite a tricky one, I think, because I was expecting them to do well last year, and they struggled really. Andrew Gay was yet to really impose himself, I'd say, as coach. They're still kind of feeling a bit sorry for themselves.
It's interesting because Andrew Gay pretty much went straight from retiring straight into becoming the Yorkshire coach. No break in between, no nothing. And I wonder whether that was a good thing, because obviously he still probably knows the majority of the players as his teammates and maybe not as a coach. And I wonder if that relationship has an effect on the way he's coaching.
Well, I think they did that because you had Gillespie leaving, and Gillespie had done so well with Yorkshire. They kind of wanted to kind of continue it in that vein.
Yeah.
But it's just not quite worked so far.
It's not. I'd say they're almost there. They're the RCB of county cricket, and they always look strong on paper, but they rarely really perform to their.
They haven't won in a while. They won 2013 or 12. The last one, the county champ.
14.
Okay.
I mean, they've lost a couple of seamers there in Brooks and Plunkett, both moving to Somerset, Surrey, respectively. But they have brought in Dwayne Love, as a Colpack signing, is pretty good replacement.
And he's been in pretty good form, so I think it'd be interesting to see how he does early season, because if he can really get them off to a flyer. Alex Lees is lost. Gone to Durham. That's quite a big blow at the top of the order with the bat.
Puts a lot of pressure on Gary Balance, who struggled with mental health issues last year. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how Gary Balance gets on.
I think they're lacking a good spin option. They've only really got Josh Poison and Nadir Rashid, who are both far more white ball bowlers than they are red ball. And beyond that, you're looking at part-timers.
Yorkshire last year did manage to contribute to the best batting trio in a hat-trick ever, which was when Root, Williamson and Bairstow all fell in a hat-trick in the county championship. Can you ever think of a county championship hat-trick that you lose three batsmen that are that good?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I can't remember who took that.
It was in the Roses game. And I can't for the life of me remember who it was, but that's a serious shift. When you've got one game, it's a one-game break, and you've got Williamson, Root and Bairstow have come in an England rest period. They've come in to play a game for the Roses match, and to knock all three of them over in 3 balls. Cheers, thank you very much.
Was Jordan Clark for Lancashire.
Who are Yorkshire's overseas players? George, did you know anything about the Yorkshire overseas players?
I don't know who they've got.
I'm not sure they've released anyone yet.
Because obviously normally last few years they've had Williamson for a certain amount of time.
Yorkshire always a little bit
Pajara.
They won't necessarily sign someone unless they get the right person, I think.
So yet to be announced, if announced at all.
Yeah.
I think and that wraps us up.
Should we do predictions quickly and then round it up?
Well, I think we've been pretty obvious over the course of we think that Kent are going down. Hampshire could
go down.
potentially could fight Kent for that relegation spot.
I'd throw Warwickshire into the mix as well.
Really? Yeah, you're right. With how weak they look at the moment, you've got a good point.
But then for the big victory, you can't really look past Surrey, can you? And obviously Somerset are going to win every game by at least 2 innings, at least. So
I think Essex as well. If the two chefs are up an absolute storm.
If if Cook can just bat forever, they've got a great chance.
It was also probably worth saying that for the last 2 county championships, they've both been won by the county who've made the best Colpack signing, and Yorkshire with Dwayne Olivier coming in. That is a county. That is the Colpack signing of the summer. So
it was Surrey's Morne Morkel.
Surrey,
and the year
Morne
before
Morkel,
was
Simon Harmer at Essex.
Interesting.
And each of them have powered their way through. So
on that note,
so those are our predictions. So inevitably it'll be Kent winning, Surrey down, and who knows what else will go on in the season. But that's the great thing about the county championship is it's never really set in stone before the season starts. Yeah, I think that's all from us.
Thanks
Sam, you can talk us through the socials.
Socials, Twitter @GrassWicket, on Facebook we're Grass on the Wicket Podcast. We're on Podbean, we're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, and we are on Stitcher.
Thank you very much for listening to our little drinks break. We'll see you guys next time.
Cheers.